use the hot seat then? We use the heat?
Well, you can use any of them. You got your choice.
They're all hot.
That one's warmed up. That one's warmed up already.
They have that sheet that shows where you want to increase your part-time so you can stay open longer. So you might want to explain that to them, Danny, what the additional hours will be.
We have 3 part-time people. Can you see them? I'm the director, and then we have an assistant director or curator, however you want to say that. And we just don't have enough time to do weekends. And a lot of our people, we see a huge increase when we do weekends. And a lot of that is volunteers, but I still think that one of us need to be there when we do the weekends with volunteers. We try to put on a presentation at least once a month, and it's either, they're always educational, sometimes they're fun too. On August 18th, which is our next one, we're going to have a presentation on live animals from this area traditionally. So, and we'll have stories about them too. So we'll have things about when Coessi chased a bear from Whitley County all the way to Pennsylvania, and so we add in the history, but we're going to bring in zoo animals that an opossum and not a bear, but other things that are traditionally from this area. So that's this month's. We did guns from Civil War and pre-Civil War last month, and that was we had not enough people at that one. I was really surprised because we had one about a year ago about guns, and that brought in 80 people on one weekend. So that's what we're looking to do, is to increase that with those hours. Do you have any other questions?
Is there any other questions for Danny while she's here?
So this is an increase in hours, not an increase in rate.
I included a 3% increase in rate for each of the positions as well.
Salary ordinance, whatever we covered.
Right. No other questions? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
So, yeah, we need to look at that one.
Front row, please.
And you normally it's not
No.
only 50 cents.
You'll be back there hiding.
We were just waiting for the front row clearance.
After your presentation 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, and we've had time to mull this over, we just come in and answer some more questions, and we've thought of some, and you guys. Okay, guys, you two, Paula, how about it?
Okay, thank you.
Have you got any figures off the top of your head or anything? The jailers and the guys that's doing the maintenance thing, how much time are they spending per month, week? That would give them, if we hire a maintenance person, that they would have back to do what they're supposed to be doing, what they were hired to do.
If we had a maintenance person, we could utilize a part-time person at the 29 hours a week to get things fixed that we need fixed. Every day I get a request of something else that went down. So right now what I'm doing is devoting a day of the week to go back and fix plumbing problems, which backs me up more. So like on Wednesday, like tomorrow, I will go and go back and fix the plumbing problems that I have right now.
Well, I think what I was getting at, if we give you a maintenance person, or if the county hires a maintenance person.
Before you go on, that person wouldn't be exclusive to over there.
No,
I mean,
no,
you-
no.
you-
You're saying in the past,
It
When
was
did
it
scheduled
pass?
1 to 2 days a month
Yeah,
to work
in the
on
past,
maintenance.
yes.
So 15 hours a month is all they were working on maintenance.
No, but
That
but
15
you guys
hours-
are having to do your own, the jailers.
Well, that was when we had a
When we had-
confinement officer doing it. He was only doing it 1 to 2 shifts a month exclusively. So we would only gain 7.5 to 15 hours a month of a in-person back on the floor.
But what I was getting at, but you need more help as jailers in your request. If we hired that person to do the maintenance, how much is that gonna help
It's,
the jailer help?
they were working, the jailer we had would be working on something, break to go do his scheduled work also, his job description work, and then go back to it. So we're really not gaining anything with what we have other than the 2 days a week or 2 days a month that we devoted to him, that he could come in and work his 8-hour shift on fixing problems, which is just keeping us above water.
How much overtime was we paying a jailer to do maintenance work?
There was no overtime for the jailer to do maintenance work.
How many hours of maintenance work do you guys have in a week?
Tomorrow I will probably be spending most of my day, so 8 hours fixing.
And is it only you, or is Steve doing some maintenance work?
Steve's
too?
not doing it anymore.
So it's only you.
Down to me.
So
What
it's
they're
only,
talking about doing, I think, is having a maintenance department. If you need something maintained, you go to that department, they send you a maintenance man to take care of it. So you're clear out of maintenance.
Yeah, right now I've got currently 5 issues that I need to resolve tomorrow. So,
how many hours if you were doing it right, like if you're being proactive, not that you're not doing it right, but if you had more time to dedicate to it, how many hours do you think could be allotted a week for maintenance?
it's rough to say. If we had somebody that could do preventative maintenance on all this stuff, the things that are starting to go bad, go through and just, fix the things that need fixed, then, I'd hate to give you a number and just be making it up. I don't have an actual fact and figure.
In the beginning, a maintenance person would be quite busy to catch up.
To catch us up.
Stuff he works on is just stuff that's emergency pending that
Right.
pops up.
This is just water for their cells, which they're required to have, things like that.
But
If
it's
we-
no preventative stuff, it's just.
No, it's just,
crisis.
yeah,
But not.
sticking your finger in the hole in the dam, I guess, is what they're doing now. So,
Have you been in conversation with Mark Sturtevant and George? Kind of fill us in on what those conversations were and what's anticipated, what's planned, your thoughts?
we have talked to Mark, and Mark did come over and, with one of his guys, and they fixed one of the mirrors in one of the cells the one day. And I was actually today was gonna call Mark about these plumbing problems I have, to see if he had any time they could come over and look at them, or have somebody look at them to try to take care of it. So we haven't really spoke in depth about what we need over here and what we would require to be done, to that fact.
If you had someone from the maintenance department that's not an officer,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to have an officer with him when he's doing something in there?
If they're employed by the county and they are trained on what they can and cannot do, then I'm okay. What we would do is go back and lock a cell block down, let them fix the problem, and then when they're done, they would exit the block, and then we could open the doors.
I worried about that.
But no, we wouldn't have to devote somebody to sit back there, as long as they're a county employee. Now, if we have outside employees, or outside agencies, we set somebody with them. If Redmond's is in to fix something, or whoever, we have somebody devoted to sit with that person, just because they're not familiar with the policies and procedures.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. My thoughts on it is, we got a maintenance person here in the county building. We got maintenance people in the courthouse on it. We got a jail facility that we don't have a maintenance person that runs 24/7 on it. And in dollars and cents, are we better off having an additional maintenance person dedicated strictly for that facility?
I'm afraid we wouldn't have enough to keep them busy, John, would be my concern on that. I mean, I think just another maintenance person will be able to handle it, but I hate to just designate them because I'm not too sure
Right.
that.
Yeah, that would come under Mark Sturtevant's
Yeah.
Yeah.
umbrella
Yeah.
on it. If they need him 40 hours in
And
week
there may be
one.
weeks that you'll have to.
In week 1 of the month, and then they only need him 20 hours in week 2 of the month, and he can go at the extension or museum or,
The community correction was gonna be added on that too.
okay.
Yeah.
Those other building, and that needs some work too.
Yeah, I think if with putting the maintenance person underneath Sturdivant and letting him delegate the
Yeah.
workload to
Whereas-
him,
wherever
with
needed.
with the jail being the primary concern, then I think you'd have a good chance of keeping him busy.
And there may be a chance, there may be projects that 2 of them have to go over there to work on it.
Right.
Obviously, yeah.
Right, and that way you're not having, I'd hate to see another, let's hire a correction officer with the idea that he's gonna do maintenance, because what's gonna happen is the jail correction officer duties are gonna take precedent over the maintenance duties, and we're gonna be right back to the same old.
No, I think you gotta have I think a maintenance department is what's needed. We got enough facilities, but you need to go out to different things. The jail's just one of them.
And the conversations, John, to answer your earlier question, the conversations I had with Mark Sturdivant, he was more than happy to help us out when he can, right now, as things are right today with the help that he has or the employees that he has. Plus, we need to begin, as I've instructed Sean to do, when he gets something that's broke or needs repaired, let Mark know so that he can either get somebody over there, or at least he can begin to realize our needs. If he doesn't ever hear from us, he probably thinks everything's okay. But if we turn around and call him on a daily basis, even if he can't make it, at least he's got an idea, is beginning to get a grasp on our needs that we're gonna have.
a foundation for knowing what's going on.
If we find if we decide among this maintenance person, you're still requesting another, the Department of Corrections wants more jailers.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
Yeah, and the jail standards.
Yeah, when the jail inspector comes around every year, he notes on our annual report that more staff is required just for safety and security of the facility. Figure-wise, we need 3 to be where we're at. We asked for 2, because I know it's a lot of money. If we had 3 people, which would put enough on, we'd put an additional person on each shift, that would allow us to have 4 people per shift every day, putting 1 in the control room, 3 on the floor. 1 could sit in the booking, 2 could be out back in the control areas in the back, monitoring inmates directly. And then if we had vacation, we could, vacation or somebody was sick, we're still not calling somebody in working overtime. That's the ideal.
Well, if you had more part-time help, what would you have to have then?
If we had,
Other than more part-time money.
well, kind of rough figures I did on $15 an hour is for 3, we would need an additional part-time from what we have now and 1 full-time. Or, if we got the 2 full-time people, we'd still probably need to continue on with our 2 part-time people we have, just because that part-time person can't work a full week like a full-time officer can to cover those shifts.
2 part-times make a week.
Yeah,
make a full
2,
week.
yeah, the 2 part-times make a full.
Sean, of your part-time help, what's the quality of that help? I mean, good help or?
The 2 we have now are really good.
But those are hard to find.
Those are hard to find.
And do they much turnover among them or not?
Recently, we have not. We just hired this second part-time person within the last year, and she's working out really well.
Both of those were interns through one of the colleges in Fort Wayne, either Ivy Tech or Brown Mackey, or I get calls from different ones that want to intern, and they intern for free with their college credits. And then the last 2 that we hired were interns because they'd already had not all the training, but they had a good background in it, and we had a good chance to see for free whether or not that they were going to be suitable for what we want. But those 2 have worked out. And I've pointed out before, finding somebody in the general population that's just looking for work, finding somebody that's qualified and willing to work part-time, first shift today, second shift tomorrow, and then have 2 or 3 days off and come back on third shift is difficult to find because of the fluctuation in the work schedule and the hours and things of that nature, so.
I show for, 4 part-timers I used $16 an hour, at 1,508 hours, which is 29-hour week. The cost for 4 part-timers would be $96,752. And the 2 full-timers is $67,116. But you can figure 30 to 40% benefits on top of that. So it's almost a wash.
Yeah, 'cause I was figuring out $15 an hour, and I guess I came up with 102,588 for 1 full-time and 3 part-time, so 69,030 for 3 part-time. I don't know if I'm close to what you have there or not.
So can we cut back on the appropriation for the part-time if you get the 2 full-time, or you still need?
I still need
the
those,
10,000?
I still need those 2 full-time, or the 2 part-time that we currently have. I don't need to add any additional part-time.
So it can go back to 20 instead of 30?
No,
Or that 30 is
we're
with the
gonna
pay?
we're gonna be short at what the 30 was to work our part-time is the full.
Yeah, the only thing about full-time is they get a number of years in, you got a lot of vacation time, then to start covering, it's cumulative.
Right, but if we have those additional full-times, we have enough people on the shift that we're not bringing somebody in to cover for that person.
You're saving on overtime.
We're saving on overtime.
We'll lose their half an hour lunch break because they'll be at minimum staffing. They won't be able to leave anybody, so they won't be allowed to leave the facility. We'll lose a half an hour compared to paying 7.5, so.
But, and we need to leave the overtime appropriation at 11,605 at 30,000 too. Or I think the 2 new positions can cut that a little. Can or can't?
I'm sorry.
It's at 30,000. Can we cut that if we get the 2 full-time positions overtime?
There'll be a reduction.
That would be a reduction in overtime, absolutely.
Okay.
Just for a point of interest, I don't think that we necessarily recall, what is the maximum part-time hourly wage?
15.
Okay.
And I figured a high rate also of if it goes up with the times, 78,000 for 3 part-time people. That was at $17 an hour. So, and I figured for three full-time, just on base salary, not including their benefits, because I don't know what the cost of benefits are, but $100,674 for 3 full-time. Where 2 full-time and 2 part-time would cost $113,136, obviously minus benefits of the 2 full-time people.
You should figure what, 30% on the benefits? And then we should-
No, probably a little over, a hair over 30.
Sometimes it runs as high as 50, but with the changes they made in health insurance, I'm thinking it's probably around 40%, and that can vary by the amount of vacation time and everything you get. And the reason I use 16 is that's what you pay, that's the rate that the jailers get now.
They paid most at the maximum 15.
Well, the 33,558, I'm sorry, the
Oh.
proposed,
I'm sorry, the full-time, okay.
and that's based on 2,080 hours.
Do you have a
Calculated
calculator?
good, nice.
Pardon me?
Do you have a calculator?
No,
Oh.
no, you couldn't read my notes anyway. All right, more questions to these guys?
No, just one question on your, on the sheriff's portion. The increase in fuel from 50 to 75, you given any more thought to what I brought up before about the personal driving?
The one thing that I did forget to mention on that is, I've got, including myself, there are at least 2 other guys that use their cars quite a bit that turn in, they will buy their own gas and turn in